Hello, my name is Raymond Karchevsky, and I am a living Christ. Today I should like to speak to you about satanic thinking, satanic influences upon your life, your consciousness. First of all, I should like to refer to you my most recent video titled "A Living Christ Breaks the Bubble of Satanic Belief." Search that video out and watch it. It's priceless. It's beyond value to you. It contains the secret that has been kept from you from living men and women since the beginning of time. And because of it, those who have the knowledge of that which I speak have taken control over this world in which you live, you call civilized life. And they control your minds. They control your behavior. They have converted you into dead persons through their satanic rules and regulations that bear no resemblance whatsoever to the truth, the law of God, for that is what truth is. It's non-dualistic. All of man's laws are based in the dualistic consciousness of the satanically ruled intellect. They who live within their intellects have been trained, programmed, and indoctrinated by satanic forces through schools, through government, through churches. They have been made into non-living persons. It's all encompassing. And all of you who consider yourselves citizens, believers in the various religious organizations, have been duped. You have been hornswaggled. You've been deceived. You've been satanized. You are all Satanists. Each and every one of you. You don't know it. You don't believe it, in fact. But you do know that you're confused. You do know that you are living in fragmentation. You're separated from your fellow man who hold different beliefs. And you argue, you debate, you demand laws, rules to control them in order to live according to what you perceive to be the ideal way of living, which in itself is an illusion that has been indoctrinated into you by your beliefs. You are Satanists. I know that I'm hurting your feelings, but that's what truth does. That which pretends, which distorts reality, which can only be lived behind masks, is open to have its feelings hurt because it's living a lie. You are living a lie. Now, there are many of you who want out because you're living in hell. And hell is composed of the dualistic belief system that you hold within your conscious intellect. It's a lie. And when you try to live a lie, you try to live according to rules, regulations, All those things are dead ideas based on words, and words can be manipulated by those who are masters at word manipulation, such as leaders, such as politicians, such as priests. They control you. They control your life force in the form of that of your production, which is wealth, your life force in the form of money. So between the bankers, the priests, and the politicians, your lost souls, lost in hell. You don't call it hell. You try to make the best of it. You excuse it. You pretend that if you have a position, a good position in hell, that it's quite pleasurable. When you have some power in hell, that's pleasurable. But most of you, unfortunately, do not experience those illusions. You find yourself at the low end of the totem pole. You're a slave. You act at the bidding of your masters. And there's no shortage of those, are there? Now, Jesus of Nazareth, another Christ, another simple man of truth, much like myself, stories have been told about him. But the living man has never communicated a thing himself. He has never put anything in writing. Everything that is attributed to him is based on other people who were not Jesus, who were writing of the exploits or the imagined exploits of such a simple man of truth. So his message, like my message, was not received. It was not welcome, because he lived in truth, as do I, and he tried to communicate that truth to those who live in deception, in hell, in duality, in lies. Now, one such experience that clearly describes the satanic forces that influence men, civilized men, is based on the story about him confronting Satan, his dualistic mind. That's all Satan is, you see. It is a form of consciousness that divides, separates, confuses, argues, and sets one into violence, a life of violence. Well, on this particular story, Jesus was confronted by the doubts of his conscious mind, Satan. When Satan approached him on the mount and said, "If you bow before me, drop down and worship me, I will give you the world. I will give you everything that you want." You see. And what he was describing was the power that is given to anyone who sells their soul to Satan for prosperity, for wealth, for power, for dominance, the rich and the poor. What did Christ, Jesus of Nazareth, say to him? "Get thee behind me, for I am the Son of God. I am truth. I am the life. I am the way." Oh, my words have changed somewhat to point out, to emphasize what is meant by his words, "Get thee behind me, Satan." What he did there is say, mind, conscious mind, you cannot tempt me. You cannot persuade me, for I am truth. And truth is what is. That is the protection of everyone who lives in truth in the spiritual world of non-duality, They are protected from all of the ills of hell. And Satan has no power over such a man or woman. And that is the lesson, the reason that you are here on earth, at this plane of consciousness, awareness, at this time. You are here to learn who you truly are, and not to be tempted by the artificial indoctrination of a deceptive, dualistic intellect that is formed by pressure, by trauma, and by suggestion, hypnotic suggestion. Hence, you're sent to school, and you are programmed. You live in a world by consent, by your consent, because you are free. You have always been free, but you have been made to doubt yourself. And in that moment of confliction, mental confliction, you sell your souls by contracting with your satanically ruled intellect through the judicial system that we call law, man's law. That is the satanic realm of control that controls you all. I have been talking to you for 23 years. Jesus of Nazareth had 3 years of public life. They killed him because he threatened the system, the intellectual system that ruled his world in his time. Those same forces are applied to this living Christ in this time. And they've had 23 years at it. And they have not been able to break me. They have not been able to destroy me, to destroy my credibility, to catch me in a single lie. They have not been able to do that. You folks live by lies. You cannot go 24 hours without lying, without making some contradiction in essence. That's a lie, you see. And that lie is what is called sin. So it has been said that the wages of sin is death. You're living in time. You're living in a fantasy world of your own mind, your own satanically ruled consciousness. You have forsaken your subconscious mind, which is the true mind of God, which is non-dualistic, which records every moment of truth. And you live in the after moment, based in memory, based in desires, based in that which gives you pleasure, which brings with it its opposite of pain. No question about that. There can be no pleasure without pain. Oh, you don't want the pain, but you want pleasure, and you search for it, but it brings you pain, and you can't free yourself of that because you're living in a dualistic consciousness. Your intellect, which has been trained by your schooling, by your education, by your satanic indoctrination. That's why I'm not connecting with you. You find comfort, security in numbers. And there are many, many, many of you who live in hell. And it's only I, not only I, there are others, but I am the only spoken Christ who makes no bones about his status. And you don't like it one bit, because in your dualistic consciousness, you're jealous. You want that. You have a desire, but you fail to see the desire that you have is evidence of your dualistic consciousness, which is hell. You're all living in hell. None of you can escape that until you understand the secret of all who are Christ's, all who are simple men and women of truth. We may convey it to you, but you won't accept it. So it's not my problem, you see. Take it or leave it. That's really all that you can do. And unfortunately, most of you leave it to continue to live in your satanically ruled conscious intellect, because it's quite common. You see, it's acceptable. You feel that that's all there is, and you really cannot get out of it. That is your self-doubt. That is how you are hooked into Satanism. You see, Satanism has no power whatsoever if you understand that he only operates by contract, by invitation. That he must have your consent. He must make the offer of painting a beautiful picture, and you must consent to it. But when you consent, what is the consideration that is given to make that contract binding? It is your soul. You are selling your soul for security. That's the definition of a civilized man ruled by Satanistic rules. I, this living, breathing, flesh and blood man, who is beyond such satanic nonsense, brings to you the truth, which is only found in the subconscious mind, and that can be accessed only through meditation, to calming, to quieting the noisy, chattering, dualistic mind full of concepts and ideas that have been drummed into you by your trainers, your satanic indoctrinators, who test you, and you spit out that which has been indoctrinated into you and give the right answer. You find that you progress well in hell, but you're still in hell. And so the rulers of hell, presidents, kings, queens, professors, they're all Satanists. For they gain their power only in a dualistic intellect, made up of masters and slaves. And the slaves, by their own consent, make them their masters. By their own consent, you see. Oh, there may be trauma in the beginning to force you to think that way, but soon it becomes operant, an automatic pilot. It just operates automatically. And you call that civilized life. Look what civilized life has done since the beginning of time to Earth, to the environment, to each other. There have been wars, there have been killings, there have been destruction of Earth, the waters, the air that we breathe. Let's see, the food that we eat. They're all contaminated by what? By the dualistic intellect. And they are going to destroy you. And they're going to destroy this Earth. That's quite clear. You look at the chemtrails, you look at the nuclear problems involved in poisoning the ocean, and killing wild maritime, the fish of the sea. You see, they're all fair game. They can't protect themselves. They're at the mercy of dualistic thinking, and the hell is brought to them, and they are destroyed. The same thing is going to happen with you, the human, through the coming collapse We've had these collapses periodically to clean out the world, to thin out the herd mentality. But we haven't learned our lesson, have we? We continue to live under the schism of a dualistic intellect, the beliefs. And we are kept as slaves to an illusory world. One based in nonsense. There's no truth in fantasy. And make no mistake about it, you're living in fantasy. That can't even be debated, you see. And debates will only lead you to confrontation, and therefore you will still stick to your ideas at the behest of the opposite that you're faced with. And you, no matter what you do, you will remain in hell instead of just walking away, stopping the intellect, quieting it, and entering into the realm of the subconscious mind through meditation. There you will find the truth that can only be seen in the moment of truth, the eternal moment of truth. You see, but you live in the after moment of deception, of satanic deception, based on memory, based on concepts. The concept isn't real, isn't truth. It's a figment of the satanic ruled intellect that allows them to live in a figmented world of separation, division, contradiction. So, when you believe that which represents truth, you're worshiping a lie, you're worshiping a graven image. And your own fictitious religions will tell you, I am the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not worship graven images. When you worship the afterthought of a moment just past, you're worshiping a graven image, are you not? So when that graven image becomes your God, who are you worshiping? You got it, Satan. That's why Christ said, get thee behind me, Satan. Because Christ knew that he was whole, holistic, holy, based in truth, based in that which is. I am that I am. That cannot be bifurcated into the thought of I am. You see, those are tricks that are played on you, and most of you buy it. I think I have brought this to a level of simplicity that even a child could grasp its meaning. So if you do not want to change your life, you do not want to see the truth, then you have deserved what you will get by living in an unholistic, fragmented, intellectual mind full of illusion that you believe to be truth, belief, the lazy man's truth. You see, you can believe in any kind of concept, but is that real? The concept clearly is not real. It's a fiction. It's an alteration of what is, of truth. But that doesn't stop you. I'm sorry to be so blunt, but there's no way that I can speak truth to you and do otherwise. It only remains for you to decide whether you see the truth of what I say. and you are moved to do something about it, other than just talk and argue. That's what's in store for you. It's not an easy road. It is the road less traveled, but you must travel it if you are to understand who you are and your purpose here on earth. Thank you for your time.